Alright, howdy. Welcome to episode number 2 of Snakestories. I'm going to do a video roughly every week, but maybe more often. I have a pretty good sized collection of guitars, and people ask questions about them, and I thought it would be cool to kind of do a series of videos where I talk about the guitars that I've got, what they do well, what they don't do well, where I got them. Some of them, like the Blackstrat you see in episode 1, I've had for over 35 years. This one I've had for about 2 weeks. It's a guitar I picked up in a trade. And you know, caveat emptor, when you're getting something in a trade, I'm pretty fearless with guitars like that, because basically if it's got a solid structure, there isn't really much that can be wrong with a guitar that I can't fix. But that's not the case for everybody, and it can be expensive to have stuff fixed. So, you know what you're getting into. It's kind of hard to actually, feel a guitar and check it over really thoroughly. And I trade in front of a Whole Foods at 2 in the afternoon. But that's the world we got right now. So, this one is a not a major manufacturer guitar. It is by a company called D00D Craft. There is a dude in Chula Vista, California, which is out near, I think, the San Diego area. And he makes these by hand, completely, totally by hand. So nothing you're looking at here is an off-the-shelf aftermarket part. It's not Ormond, it's not WD, it's not any of those. Not all parts. This is all hand done. So what he's got here, this is a model called the Letty, and it's kind of a, kind of a Les Paul Telly kind of thing, but it's got some cool features. It's got a maple neck with good flame to it, and locking Goto tuners. The neck has a really nice beefy kind of D profile on it, and the maker says that there are 2 ash stringers running up here, and then the truss rod. I need to check with him because I think it's a dual action truss rod just based on my own tweaking. It is set in an ash body, and you can see it's got this kind of gray wash finish here on a contoured neck heel, which is good for reaching all the way up. It has kind of faux binding along the side, and then it's a shell pink top, which is not a color that I would probably seek out, but it actually looks really cool in person, so I was kind of jazzed to get that. I think it's my first pink guitar. And it's semi-hollow, like I said, so it has good ring to it, good resonance. Mostly Goto tuner or hardware on it. It's got a Goto aluminum tailpiece, tunematic bridge, full-size CTS pots, and a Switchcraft switch. The pickups are Kent Armstrong. This one up here is kind of a PAF level, and the one down here you made a hotter pickup, but it has taps on both pickups, which is really handy. The fretboard is Granadillo, which is not a material that I've had before. It looks real similar to me to rosewood. And again, all this is hand done. 24 frets, medium jumbos, which are good for playing. I've got it strung up with 10s right now, which is a little bit heavier than I'm used to on this scale of a guitar, but it felt like it set up well with 10s. It has a 0 nut, or a 0 fret, which is a pretty unusual feature. It's the kind of thing that got associated unfairly with cheap guitars, because some lower level harmonies and some cheap Japanese student guitars in the 60s and 70s especially had these, and I think the assumption was that if you have a 0 fret, you don't need to know how to make the nut, and that was a way to make it cheaper. But it actually has its own kind of considerations, because you have to make this the right height still, and you do still have to cut these nut slots correctly so that the strings feed into the tuners right and don't hang up. And I had to do a little bit of leveling on some of these frets up here, because the nut had some adjustment issues, and once I fixed those, these couple top frets here were buzzing pretty bad. So I just did a level and crown and polish. not the kind of thing you could tell really what was wrong with it when I was looking at it. I could see that the nut wasn't right, but you just don't know what you're getting into sometimes with trades. And this one worked out well because I can do the work myself, but if you had to take this in and have it done, it might be a couple $100. So we'll get right down to some tones on it. It has a, like I said, a humbucker, both positions. It's a nice bright sounding guitar, not at all dark, but it has a warmth to it. It's just kind of hard to qualify because usually when you say warm, I think of dark, and it's not dark, but it just does have a nice beefiness to it, which I think may be partly due to the semi-hollow body. It has taps on both pickups, so here's the humbucker and the bridge. Take the tap, take the half of it out. Also cleans up nicely. And if it's too bright, you got a tone knob. Really has a very telly sound to it, even on the humbucker setting. I'm going to take both of them on the tap position and do the middle. So it does some nice kind of twangy and finger pick tones, but it also, will do lots of nice kind of grindy blues. Something a little bit gainier, absolutely will bring the rock. So there we go. Oh, here we go. This will be nice. note clarity in the chords, even with a lot of gain. And like I said, plays really well. It's not a tiring neck to play the way a lot of thinner ones are. So again, this one did need a little bit of help when I got it, but I think as a concept, it's a great guitar. If you can, if you find one out there, or if you live out near Chula Vista, yeah, definitely get in touch with the guy and check one out. Be a really versatile guitar. I'm going to use this one on. I got a project coming up where I'm adding some rhythms, kind of in a classic rock vein, and probably some lead work too. So I will use this on that. Hopefully there will be a good recording of it soon. But in the meantime, if you see one, check it out. Hope you enjoyed Snakestories Volume 2, Episode 2.